I'm a Professor of Information and Organisation, particularly interested in the ways in which technology impacts on the ways in which people live their lives and the possibilities that it might have for transforming various aspects of society. Reason I'm here is to report upon a project we've been doing with older adults and the ways in which technology might be able to support independent living amongst older adults in a rural district. So it's a project we've undertaken in the Lake District, so we're really interested in the ways in which technology might or might not be able to address issues of loneliness and social isolation. Okay, so one of the interesting starting points is that in this area only about 16% of older adults have access to the internet, so it becomes a danger that the technology is for the minority of older adults and won't benefit the majority of older adults. Second thing, of course, is that loneliness and social isolation, because of the demographics, is particularly acute there. You know, it's very hard to get around, very expensive to get around. People often don't have extended families there anymore because there isn't a livelihood for many younger people. So it becomes a really central concern. So where that got us to is to ask the question, how do people access social connectedness? So we did a really detailed study on how people go about accessing events, volunteering, trying to catch up and communicate with other people, and then how they're able to use the local infrastructure to do that. And so we looked at simple things like transportation. Are there bus routes or not? Is the information accurate? With the funding cuts, what happens, first of all, when the bus services change, and second of all, when maybe a social enterprise has emerged to try to address the problems with transportation. We looked at simple things like once they've arrived at the location of the event, how do they get there from the bus stop to the hall? Just very simple accessibility issues, how much it costs, okay, what they like doing. In terms of technology, so the central problem is what technology can do is open up and share information about what we refer to as the enabling links. So the things that older people like to do, can we open up information that's provided by multiple agencies, government and non-governmental organisations, and crucially, can we personalise it? Because a lot of work goes into searching to attend events and to address social isolation. So once we have the information, can we personalise it so it's relevant to the individual older adult in our case? And then finally, how do we open that up to the 84% of older adults that don't have access to technology? So you might say it's useful for 16%. For the others, maybe they have friends, relatives, children, grandchildren, carers who can access the internet and who can use a personalised profile so that meaningful services can be provided to them. The conclusions are very positive. So we have an app for that. The app's being tested at the moment. The conclusions where they become more challenging are how do we get all the NGOs who might have really interesting opportunities for our older adults to maintain and update data, okay? Because certainly in places like South Lakeland, the locations of the events, the people that host the events, there are a myriad of small NGOs who aren't technologically orientated, and what we need to do is to provide a really simple way so that all the social enterprises, non-governmental organisations and government agencies share data, open up the data about what they have, and the app that we've developed can then tailor that to the needs of the individual older adults. So the key challenge is about working with small NGOs to open up their data and to work with large organisations to maybe sort of simplify their provision so that everybody can contribute.